Often I'm cautious, babe. Had to come slide your way. Cop through this weather rain. I hope you say, I do, I do, I do. I do, I do, I do.
What's the deal, everybody? My name is Ricky Montoya, aka the Fooest of all bears, and you are now tuned into I Think You're My Driver podcast, man. So today, before I get too far into this episode, man, if you're not already following me, my is at itymd.podcast. And that is on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, iHeartRadio, as well as Amazon. So if you're not already following, go ahead, join the family, man. Like I said, at itymd.podcast, man. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity and even pressing play on every episode that I have here. Today is actually going to be episode 15. I've been holding this concept in for quite a bit of time because this is a very, very special episode to me. This is something that I hold near and dear to my heart, bro. So today, episode 15 is called It Was Like a Disney Movie, fool. Bro, listen, man. When I say that it was like a Disney movie, bro, I am specifically talking about my wedding, bro. So, my wife and I have been married for almost about 2 years. So, I just want to go ahead and just kind of just sprinkle every little bits and pieces to where you could see how much of a just like fairy tale this is, bro. So, we got married in the month of November in the year 2022. When we were planning out our wedding, my wife had specifically had this thing to where she wanted to get married on a day that was like an angel number. So we got married on 11/11 of 2022, which is awesome, right? Because 11 plus 11 is what? 22, bro. And how she thought about it is we have to find a venue quick because being that it's one of those, angel number days, it's going to be a date that's going to get booked up very quick. So, it's one of the things where you have to plan ahead. If you think just like, prepping for like nursing school or you like planning out to like take like a very big test, something to where you're having to like really stress out and make sure every little bit and pieces that you are getting together is working out the way that you need it to be. This is exactly how a wedding goes, bro. So, in this particular scenario where I am speaking about my wedding, bro, it was, I want to say, like a weeks long event of me having everything really hit. So I proposed to my wife, I want to say roughly maybe a year prior to us getting married. Now, in all honesty, that's a pretty good time frame. I don't know a whole lot about weddings. So when we were putting all this together, this is coming this is coming to me with all such new information, but it's like such an experience to really like go through. So if actually get the opportunity, for whoever's listening, if you get the opportunity to get married and meet the love of your life and everything under the sun to get to this day, bro, I want you to know that it is worth it. It is worth it in the end, bro. So, not to get too carried away while talking about this episode here, I'm just going to go ahead and get right into this, man. So, like I said, this was kind of like a weeks long thing of me mentally preparing myself for the wedding. We got married on 11/11 of 2022, which was a Friday. For those of you who don't really know a whole lot about weddings, there is specific days that if you get married on, it's more expensive depending on where you are renting your venue, where you are holding your wedding. All of that stuff really counts. Now, like I said, this was a brand new ball game for me. So I had absolutely no idea what I was getting myself into when I got into this scenario, but I loved every bit of it looking back in hindsight, bro. The week of our wedding, I was still driving Uber and Lyft at this time. And when that week started, I was checking the weather very closely. The closer and closer that we were getting to our wedding day, it kept saying that it was going to rain. Now, I don't have a problem with rain whatsoever. My wife and I actually enjoy the rain. We love the rain. Every bit of it is actually pretty awesome. But when you're getting married, it's not the worst thing to have rain on your wedding. Apparently, it's actually like a sign of good luck whenever you have rain on your wedding. But not only was it very concerning to us that it was going to rain on our wedding, but our wedding was actually outdoors. So the entire time when I'm driving for Lyft and Uber for that entire week, I'm thinking to myself that it's supposed to rain this coming Friday and I don't have anxiety about it, but I'm like, man, it's going to rain. My wife and I are getting married this Friday on the day that it says it's going to rain. Not only is it going to rain, but it is going to rain when we are outside, bro. So while I'm doing Uber and Lyft this entire week, bro, you know, I try my best not to make all these rides about myself because it's very important in conversation when you are interacting with a new person that you give that person time to speak. But of course, whenever it came time to, oh, well, what about you? How are you doing? I'm all excited, man. Like I'm getting married on Friday, bro. So I'm just, getting prepared and everybody's like, oh my gosh, congratulations you know, that's so awesome. And, you get to, tell your whole story. Cause, in all honesty, I'm a younger guy, man. I just turned 26 a couple of months ago. So, almost 2 years back, I was, just barely 24. When people look at me, people always say that I look very young, which I am, appreciative about. But you being a younger person, a lot of us in our generation, people older than us, they kind of see us as being doomed. So when I'm telling all these like particular stories to all these passengers about like, oh yeah, like I'm getting married, my wife and I have been together for, X amount of time. And it's just always like so exciting to finally get a chance to like kind of share just like a bit of your life, bro. Because especially with something like such precious as you getting married or you just getting a chance to talk about your partner, it really gives you an opportunity to just like express every little bit of emotion and happiness that you feel about this kind of thing, man. So I was excited, bro. It was like I was like a kid, bro. Just like, yeah, like my wife and I were getting married on Friday, man. Like it's official. We've been planning this out all this time. It's gonna be like at this place over here that's in the city. And it's gonna be like this outdoor thing. And like the thing that was like the coolest thing when we were actually like touring the venue that we had our wedding at, they were under construction rebuilding the area of the outdoors where most of the wedding ceremonies are at. So to kind of paint the picture on this and not veer away too much from the story on this, the setting of where the outdoor weddings were at this particular venue, they had a lot of chairs that were lined up and a lot of like bricks. And they built this like gazebo type of thing and just filled it up with like a whole bunch of vines. That way it can, cover up. And if it's raining or there's some kind of like inclement weather or if it's like really hot, the vines on top of the gazebo really took gave you an opportunity to not have the sun peek through so much, not have the rain get through so much or whatever else is going on above you while you're having the happiest moment of your life. So at this time when we were touring it, it wasn't entirely finished, but they kept explaining to us. They're like, no, like, don't get discouraged. Do not get discouraged about how it looks right now. It is under construction. We're still working on this. So it's coming together. Just know, like, whenever it's time for you guys to get married, this will all be completed. All the vines will be fully grown across this entire space. So it's going to look amazing and you guys are going to love every bit of it. So I'm getting a chance to share this story and share my happiness and joy with all the passengers that I was, picking up. But like I said, being that I was checking the forecast every, day, trying to see if like the change was going to update, it still kept saying that the rain was coming, but the chances of rain were increasing. And the further that we got into the week, the chances of rain were increasing. And specifically, when I looked into the forecast even deeper, it kept saying that this rain was actually going to happen when we were getting married, like when our ceremony was taking place. So, as I'm looking over this forecast, and every time, whenever I'm getting a chance to share my happiness and share my joy with every passenger that I had for that entire week, the number one sentence that I said to every single person in that car was, man, it's supposed to rain this Friday and I'm getting married on Friday, which, it's not the worst thing that it's going to rain, but we're having an outdoor wedding. And everybody's like, wow, you know what? That is definitely something that you want to make sure that you're cautious of because if you're having an outdoor wedding, it's not going to be very beneficial if it's raining on you, right? So all week I'm like saying like, man, it's supposed to rain, so I'm just hoping that like one of the passengers that I picks up has like the plug with whoever controls the weather. So I'm gonna be like, hey, bro, like help me out, hook it up. And I'm not joking. I said that to every single person that I got a chance to interact with and tell the story about. Every single person that got in, it's the same thing. I ran down the line of everything that was going, how much it's been a process, how it seemed like it was going to be stressful, but it wasn't. But then it was stressful, but I was just trying to like ignore the fact that how stressful it was because I knew it was going to be such a great time, bro. We get throughout the week, the days are counting down, we're getting closer and closer to every day. And I'm telling every single person in the car that I got in the car with that, hey, it's supposed to rain. I'm hoping that it's not going to rain. But even if it does rain, I'm hoping that I run into the person who controls the weather. That way I can say, hey, bro, like, hook it up, man. Like, I'm not saying that you got to, make it rain, but shoot, like, around like 6 o'clock, like, cut the rain off and, have it come back after the fact, around 7, 8 o'clock. I don't care, right? As the week is progressing, this is in November in the state of Oklahoma. So, for those of you guys who do not live in the state of Oklahoma or don't really live in like the South, the month of November is very unpredictable because fall had probably not been too far along, maybe about a month. So fall time is, supposed to be good weather, right? 50, 60 degrees. Sometimes it might reach 40 or whatever the case. So this entire week, it was actually pretty warm. Like it was like 90 degrees, 70 degrees, 80 degrees, pretty warm. Why is it that the entire week it felt amazing, but the day of the wedding, that Friday morning, the temperature dropped, bro. It had literally been 70, 80 degrees, 90 degrees, 60 degrees. Then Thursday evening, Thursday night came around, and all of a sudden it dropped to about 40 something degrees, almost 30 degrees. We're watching this forecast just change before our eyes and wake up that Friday morning and it's cold as fuck in the house when my wife and I woke up that morning. And I'm like, dang, man, is it supposed to be cold like this all day? And we're like looking at each other like, I don't think this is part of the plan here. This wasn't supposed to be something that was happening. Like, what the hell? Right? As we're waking up and we're like looking at each other, like, dang, it wasn't supposed to be this cold. And I look at my phone and it says it's like 37 degrees, 20 something degrees outside. And I'm like, bro, what the hell? I'm like, it was just like 60 something degrees yesterday. What the hell happened? And I check my phone and I look at the weather app. Like I said, the entire week it said that on today, Friday, it was going to rain. Not once did it say anything about the temperature dropping, but the temperature dropped and there was still rain in the forecast. Now, when I'm looking at the weather app, it said it was going to be sporadically raining throughout the entire day. But, whenever you live in Oklahoma, you live in Texas, bro, it's going to rain off and on. It might rain for about 3 minutes and then, it'll be all right. That day, that morning, it's cold as fuck and we still have like a whole lot of errands to run. It's a lot of like last minute stuff that we're doing. And, we're trying to just make sure that all of our ducks in a row and everything is going according to plan. That's what we're doing. That day goes on, we go our separate ways. She starts to handle what she's handling, and then I'm handling what I'm supposed to handle. I had a to do list basically of like getting like the supply stuff that we're going to need. So, putting out all of like the papers that we're putting on all of the tables, getting out the like lists for the notebook where everybody can sign their name, leave all this, basically getting all the last minute things together so that way we can make sure that everything is happening according to plan and we're according to schedule. So, like I said, bro, the entire day it was cold, fool. And in Oklahoma, cold is not just cold. When you're living in other states, it'll be about 30 degrees or whatever the case, but, it doesn't feel like it's 30 degrees. In Oklahoma, bro, in the state of Oklahoma, When it is 30 degrees, bro, that's just the temperature. What you fail to realize is in the state of Oklahoma, we have wind. Wind out here in Oklahoma is ridiculous, bro. And I'm going to tell you why it is ridiculous. The wind in Oklahoma is ridiculous because they cut down every single tree in the entire tri state area of Oklahoma City. Every single tree got cut down and turned into hotels and gas stations because we have a ridiculous amount of hotels throughout the entire city. Now, being that it is very windy, it's flat as fuck, we have no trees to absorb this. When it is 30 degrees, that wind chill is bringing it down to about 23, sometimes even lower than 20 degrees, bro. Like I said, bro, it was cold as fuck the entire day. I got a lot of anxiety and a lot of pressure on my shoulders because today is the day. I have all these last minute things that waited oh so long to get taken care of. And now here I am trying to get everything at the last minute. And I have a lot of anxiety. I have a lot of anxiety, not even regarding the weather, but I'm about to marry the love of my life. In today's terms, we've been together for 8 years now. And when you've been together with somebody for so long, you learn a lot about them. And not to mention, bro, my wife and I actually have been together since we are about 17, 18 years old. So we like literally grew together, bro. We matured together, you know. When we got our first apartment, like it wasn't like this was our first apartment together. No, this was our first apartment as young adults, bro. So every stage of life when you're in the ages of 17 to about 25, we experience that together. That's an experience I will trade for nothing on this planet, bro. Because there's people out here who, it takes them a while to really find the person, whether it's just because they had a lot of standards that people weren't just meeting, or they just really weren't looking for somebody to fulfill that other half that they're looking for. It's such an amazing thing when you have that opportunity to meet that person at a young age and you guys get to grow with each other because whenever you are going through that younger stage of that 18 to 25, there's a lot of stuff that's really going to test you and really make you question on how much further you're going to want to push through or whether you even want to just give up and throw in the towel. And I'm not talking about relationships. I'm talking about just life, bro. Cuz let's be honest, when you're between the ages of 18 to 25, majority of those people are in college, Majority of those people are going to Votex or they're just working jobs because they couldn't get into school or couldn't find anything or felt like they weren't worthy enough to go into school. So they just, go straight to work and just kind of just figure it out day by day. Now, I commend anybody who is able to go on this journey by themselves and navigate through this journey successfully and do everything that they have according to plan. Because in all honesty, if I didn't have my wife by my side, bro, there's a lot of the things that I went through between the ages of 18 to 25, I do not think I would have been able to handle on my own. As the day is progressing, we're still watching out for the weather, and the weather still says that it is going to rain. It's progressively getting colder. It's getting closer and closer for the time for the wedding to start and I get all of the last minute things that I need to. And I call my wife and I say, hey, like, I got everything that I need to. Where are you guys? She's like, oh, well, I'm just gathering all the last things to put in the car and we're going straight to the venue so that way we could set everything up. She was like, you got everything that you needed? And I was like, yeah, I got everything I needed. And she was like, okay, so, just go ahead, come home, take your last minute shower, grab a couple of things, put everything in the car, and then just, come straight over to the wedding venue and we'll go from there. I was like, all right, cool. Now, like I said, a lot of anxiety and a lot of things are running through my mind throughout this day. I gather all my last bit of errands that I needed to do and I start driving back to the house. Now, when I'm driving back to the house, typically my thing is that when I'm in the car, I need to have some music, I need to have a podcast, I need to have some kind of background noise. I can't just drive in silence. But this day in particular, I drove in silence just because I had so much anxiety and had a lot on my mind that I'm trying to gather. Because not to mention, am I preparing for a wedding, but I also have to prepare what exactly that I'm going to say. when it came to saying a vow. A lot of people do this stuff differently. Some people will write out vows, or, if they're getting married in a church, some churches will write out a vow that you guys can repeat to each other or whatever the case. My wife and I, in particular, we came up with our own vows, but we didn't write them out. Me having a lot of anxiety, having a lot on my mind, and then also, it probably doesn't sound like this, but I kind of have like a little bit of a fear when it comes to like speaking in front of people. And I think it's just like everybody says, all the eyes on you, all the focus. It's kind of tough to kind of maintain like the focus and the point that you're, trying to push when you are being the speaker in front of a group of people. So I have all of this anxiety in my mind. I'm driving back to the house. I get to the house, nobody's there. And I just remember like walking into the house, opening the door, and like my dog looking at me like, the hell? Like, why are you going to the front door? Like, we never go through the front door. And I'm like, I know, bro. Like, today's different, man. And I remember I picked up my dog, man. I have a little Maltipoo, just to put this into context. So my dog's, not even 2 feet tall, about 10 pounds. And I pick him up and I'm like, we're getting married today, man. I'm losing my shit. And I'm just like, bro, like, help me, man. And like talking to my dog as if he's a person, bro, because like I just had so much on my mind. And it's finally the time when I got to prepare myself. I take my shower and I'm gathering all my last little bit of things. And the funniest thing about this entire thing, I grabbed nothing that I was supposed to because I was just so lost, bro. I had so much on my mind, so much anxiety. I grabbed nothing that I was supposed to grab. I only grabbed the one important thing, which was when my wife and I got married, instead of doing, wedding bands, we actually picked out crystals for each other. The crystals that she picked out for me were like basically like crystals to kind of like fight against anxiety, work with, controlling anger, just being able to, be humble and stay grounded. I kind of picked out similar crystals for my wife as far as like maintaining, anxiety and just being able to maintain focus and stuff like that. Not only am I picking out crystals that are, specific that I'm giving to her, but I also have to include these things into my vows that I'm saying to my wife. It was just a lot on my mind. And I get in the car, I get in the truck, and I'm, driving over there. Luckily, this venue was like 5 minutes away from the house. So, like, I got to the venue in like good time, bro. Driving over to this venue and getting everything prepared, bro. It was like so cool, man. Cause like this venue, even though it was like an outdoor venue, they had like two different like buildings. Like they had like a standalone building with like two separate rooms and like one changing room. So it's like I forget what they call it, like the groom's area and the bridesmaid. There's a specific name, but it's just slipping my mind the name of the exact area that they call it. So there was that, and then on the other side was a standalone building where, you set up the tables, you have the reception inside or whatever the case. So specifically, we packed up everything to be in this area because, like I said, it was cold as fuck, bro. I'm talking at this point now, it was probably about 23 degrees outside, and we are having this wedding outside, bro. Time is getting closer and closer to the time we actually specifically walked down the aisle at 6:23 p.m. And the reason why we chose 6:23 p.m. because on June 23rd of 2016, that was whenever my wife and I made it official that, we were a couple, bro. Everything was just very calculated. And like I said, bro, watching over the weather forecast, it said it was going to be cold, but it also said specifically that it was going to be raining. Now, it said that this rain was going to be around the 5 to 6 o'clock hour. So it's about 6 o'clock, and we're getting everything prepared to go ahead and start walking out. And, everybody's walking up to my area. They're knocking on the door, trying to get us to start walking out. I had to walk out first and go up there. As I'm walking up, it's just hitting me. That is like, dang, like, I'm actually about to get married right now. Not to mention that we're having this awesome outdoor wedding, but we had family come in, bro. Like my godmother came in from Seattle, bro. My uncle and aunt, they drove up from Dallas with my mom and my sister. And, I had friends drive up from Dallas, bro. So it was just a big event. And then her family all lives here in Oklahoma. So everything was local. And it was just awesome, bro. Cause I'm walking out here. And of course, we had an idea of who was on the list. But with all this anxiety that I had in my mind, I really could not tell you who exactly was on the list that actually confirmed that they were coming to the wedding besides a select few. So as I'm walking down the aisle, going up to everything, I'm seeing everybody. I'm like, oh, hey. Everybody's taking pictures and shit. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I think I'm tripping, bro. I think I'm just tripping. I've been worried about this all day. Everything's going to be fine. Like, I got this, bro. Just, me be the confident person that I am and treat it the exact same way that I treat everything else, right? Now, as I'm walking down the aisle, like I said, it's cold as fuck. You can feel the wind smacking the side of my face. Like the wind is really brushing through under this gazebo. 'Cause it's like 23 degrees outside, bro. And not to mention with the wind chill, that wind is really pushing and really flowing through the state of Oklahoma, my guy. I get to the front, I stand in my position, and all of, the groomsmen and the bridesmaids are all walking out and, they're coming out, single file line. And then finally, the moment of truth, the moment is happening to where I'm finally getting a chance to see my wife come and walk towards me. We didn't do the traditional thing of like having the veil to reveal whatever that is. So I could see her from a distance and like the feeling that I had watching her come out of this area and seeing like how dolled up she was, bro, I'll never forget this, man. Like literally, bro, like I remember like she got like her lashes done. She had like this red lipstick on and she had like some like eye makeup. And my wife wears glasses, but for this day, she did not wear glasses. She had her contacts in. So it was just like, man, like I'm cheesing, like thinking about this shit, bro. Cause it was just like such a thing. And as I'm seeing her come out, she was walked down the aisle by her two brothers, and her brothers are walking her out. And as she's starting to walk out, it's starting to snow. Like, no joke when I say this, bro. This is in November in the state of Oklahoma on a day when it's 23 degrees. The high for that day was probably about 37 degrees. All week it said that it was going to rain, which I was expecting rain. And that's what the weather app said, that it was going to rain. No joke, bro. As she was starting to walk out at our time of 6:20, 6:23, bro, it starts snowing, bro. And I'm not joking when I say this shit was like a Disney movie, bro. Because when the shit started to snow, we're all looking up at the sky like, is it snowing right now? Like, right now it's snowing? And I'm like, bro, what the hell is going on? And it's just like, it's so unreal, bro. It is so unreal, like thinking about that, how in the happiest moment of my life, the biggest moment of my life that I've been thinking about this entire week is happening right now at this very moment. And all week, I've been so concerned that it was supposed to rain, and it said that it was going to rain, but in turn, it actually ended up snowing, bro. Now, not only did it start snowing the moment my wife was starting to walk down the aisle, no joke when I say this, bro. After the entire ceremony got concluded, we said everything that we need to, said our I do's, said our vows, and start, packing up all of our chairs to go inside. It stopped snowing. Like, when I tell you, bro, that day was just crazy, bro. Not only was it just one of those like special angel number days, 11/11, and it was a Friday. So everything was just like the perfect way to really like end off a week. But then on top of it being that it snowed on a wedding day. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just Google this here for us just to kind of put this into context. So, as I said earlier, when it came to it was supposed to rain for the wedding. So, according to Google, rain on your wedding day is good luck because it signifies that your marriage will last. As you know, a knot that becomes wet is extremely hard to untie. Therefore, when you tie the knot on a rainy day, your marriage is supposedly just as hard to unravel. That's what it says whenever it rains on your wedding day. It didn't just rain on our wedding day, it snowed on our wedding day. So in Google, it says, according to wedding folklore, snow on your wedding day is a sign of fertility and prosperity. You can incorporate this idea into your wedding by decorating with snowflakes or having a snowflake craft for children at their tables. Now, we didn't have any of those, arts and crafts as far as like building snow angels or snowflakes or whatever, because we did not know that it was going to snow, dude. It literally only snowed for the amount of time that we were outside having this ceremony. I'm not joking when I say this, dude. It literally only snowed from whenever my wife started walking down the aisle to when we actually went inside, bro. Cause like when I tell you this was literally just like a Disney movie, and the fact that like all of my worries and all of my anxiety just completely got lifted, being that it's such a good luck of like rain on your wedding day, being that snow also is kind of like a form of rain as far as like precipitation. It's just like a lower temperature of the precipitation that creates the snowflake, science and shit. But if you think about it, like it says how when you pour water on a rope, it makes it tough to unravel because it soaks it and that water absorbs into the tying of the knot. When you're tying the knot on something that is frozen over, that knot is never coming undone, bro. So when I tell you like the amount of stuff of like just getting a chance to really like grow with my wife as a 17, 18-year-old, all the way to presently speaking as a 26-year-old man, like it's just so amazing that I really got the opportunity that not a lot of people on this planet, not a lot of people ever in life will ever get to experience of really growing with your person and finding the person that you are meant to be within this life, bro. And like snow on our wedding day just really like solidified it for me that this is exactly the person that I am supposed to be with. This is the person that I'm supposed to spend the rest of my life with. And every time I get a chance to tell this story to people, people are like, it snowed on your wedding day? And I'm like, yes, bro. Like, it was like a Disney movie. When I tell you, bro, I'm not joking when I say this, bro. Like, it was so dope. I would have never thought in a million years when I was in, high school, middle school, elementary school, and like thinking about my life, you know, when I was picturing my life, I definitely saw myself getting married and having a family, but never, never in any of my Uno cards did I ever think that on the day that I got married to the love of my life, that it was going to snow, bro. It's just like so amazing every time I think about it, bro. Like it really like warms my heart and puts the biggest smile on my face every time I think about that, bro. I loved every bit of it. I loved every bit of my life, bro. And I love like every time just like looking at some of these wedding pictures. Cause like even in the pictures, bro, you would have thought it was like you know how like around Christmas time when you get like Santa pictures and stuff like that? And like they add like the snowflake filters and shit like that. It was like that, but we didn't have to add it because it was there. It was happening in real time, bro. So like when I tell you, bro, when you are planning out your life, there's a lot of things that are going to occur. And there's a couple of different ways that you could go about a lot of these situations. Some people will just shut down, wouldn't know what to do, would not know how to handle it or even how to go about it. The best way to really go about these kind of situations, bro, you really just have to roll with the punches, man. Because in that entire week that I was telling everybody that, I'm hoping that I run into the person who controls the weather so they can hook it up, bro. That kind of convinced me that I ran into that person. But also at the same time, that also let me know that on a deeper level, my wife and I are connected on a way deeper level as far as where we are in life, bro. Because snow on a wedding day is not. what do you call it? It's not fairy tale. It's not something that's never happened. But on a day when it shows that there was no snow in the forecast and snow just randomly appeared specifically in the exact time frame that our entire wedding ceremony happened, bro, that really just solidified it to me in my mind that my wife and I are made for each other. Like, this is the person that I'm supposed to grow with and be with until we move on to the next. We have conversations about this all the time to where we really feel like we are connected but have some kind of past life together. So honestly, having that snow on the wedding day kind of just makes me feel like this is like a callback to something. And I'm just like loving the journey and loving every bit of it. Now, speaking from now terms, now that my wife and I are about to welcome our second child here in the next couple of months, it's like everything is just kind of happening like the way it's supposed to, bro. And being a 26-year-old man, like I've said, bro, not a lot of people are going to get to experience this type of stuff. Not a lot of people are going to get the chance to have the person that they are going to spend the rest of their lives with and meet them at a young age, bro. A lot of these people go through so many trials and go through so many situations. They move houses, move states, they move with a family member because somebody passed. They, you know, get their life going and then get veered off course because they have to do something. Now, being that my wife and I literally met at the perfect time when like both of us were about to graduate high school. So it was like a time when we're going into adulthood trying to figure everything out. And the fact that we literally were there for each other every step of the way makes me so happy because it's only going to get better the further that we get into life. And now, us being parents, bro, is that when my wife and I got married, my daughter was about 1 years old. She was like a couple months after turning one. And my daughter is obsessed with us. She was actually sitting front row with my mother in law, and she's like attached to my mother in law, like her nana. She loves her nana to death. So she would never leave her nana's side. But in the moment of us having our wedding ceremony, she wanted to make it sure that she was also a part of that ceremony. So there is a whole lot of pictures to where she ran directly up to me, started hugging my leg, and then of course she started reaching her arm like, pick me up, pick me up. So of course, what do? I picked that little girl up, man. And in some of the pictures where we're like reading to each other, or the person who was over the wedding is like giving us all of the, do you use something, something, something as this? I do. My daughter is in my arms. My daughter's in my wife's arms. Like, it couldn't be such a better wedding, bro. Like, when I tell you, bro, this was literally just like a Disney movie when I tell you, bro. Like, there's no better way that I could really describe this day, man. And being that this was the case for our wedding, I'm really excited to see what the rest of our lives are going to be like, bro. Because everything that we have done has really been a movie, bro. Like, I'm trying my best not to drag this out, but man, this is like when I tell you, bro, this is such a really special episode that I've been holding the concept for. I knew that this was going to be a fantastic episode because this is just such an amazing, like, episode of my life, bro. Like, it really was like an episode of like some like Disney Mickey Mouse fairy tale, bro. Like, for those of you guys who have ever seen this one, there is a Mickey Mouse Christmas special where in the movie Mickey is preparing for Christmas and he's very discouraged because he works this job to where he's not able to really afford to buy Minnie a gift. Now, being that Mickey and Minnie are really made for each other and they are like the epitome in a cartoon form of real love, being a man, you don't really think about the real thoughtful things when you're trying to get a gift for your wife or your significant other. A lot of the times, as men, we're trying to find something that's of certain value so that way we could. I'm not going to say prove to our wives or significant others, but basically like give it to them in gift form. Like, I love you so much that I'm willing to buy this for you. I'm willing to spend this or, whatever the case. But honestly, bro, when it comes to your significant other, monetary value is really not the top priority when it comes to being thoughtful. So in this particular movie, Mickey is very discouraged because he's not able to, buy what he wants to buy for Minnie. And in this movie, Minnie really wanted this necklace because it was supposed to match with her earrings. And Mickey did not have the funds to purchase this necklace. He didn't have any kind of way to find the money to purchase this necklace. So, what he did is he sold his prized harmonica that I believe was like brass or I think it was gold. So, it was worth something, and he actually was able to sell this harmonica to the jeweler so that way he could have the money to get this necklace. So he goes through all this trouble, he sells his harmonica, he gets this necklace and he packages it up for Minnie, and Christmas Day comes. And they're opening each other's gifts, and he gives her the necklace and she was like, "Oh my gosh, this is the necklace. The necklace that was supposed to match with my earrings. Oh, Mickey, you shouldn't have. You shouldn't have." And he's like, "Oh, well, I know, but something that you really wanted because it was supposed to match with your necklace. You're supposed to match with your earrings. So, go ahead, go put the earrings on so you can put the necklace and we can see how it looks together." And she was like, "Okay, well, what I got you a box for your prized possession of your harmonica." And she's like, "Wow, Minnie, like you shouldn't have." And they're both reacting to each other in like this way of like, "Oh my gosh, you got me what I was looking for." But the same way how Mickey got rid of his harmonica so he could buy Minnie this necklace that she wanted, Minnie actually sold her earrings so she could buy this box for Mickey's harmonica, bro. So it was like such like a touching moment that I felt like I connected with because they literally like gave up every last thing so that way they could see the other person happy, just so that way they could put a smile on each other's face. And I think that's something that us as like individuals in relationships kind of like fail to realize is that it's really the thought that counts. That's really going to prove the bigger point whenever you are trying to, do a gift or even do some kind of act of service for your significant other, man. It really lets that person know how much you care for them and how much love that you have for them, bro. So I think I think I've kind of stretched out this episode enough, bro. But for those of you guys who have stuck in with me as far as this one here, I really do want to thank you for like tuning into every single episode, man. Today was only episode 15, and this is only just one of many, bro. But if you have really been sticking along with me in this journey, bro, I really do thank you, bro. I really do. So, if you are not already following me, man, my @ is at itymd.podcast. Like I said, that's on Instagram, that's on TikTok, that's on Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, as well as iHeartRadio, bro. And I'm going to go ahead and sign this one off here. My name is Ricky Montoya, aka the Fooest of all bears. And thank you so much for tuning into today's episode, man. I'm signing out.
I do, 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 I do. Promise that I treat you right, stay by my side for many lives. I know, love you through the storm and tides, your lows and highs. Is that alright? I know. Promise that I treat you right, stay by my side for many lives. I know, love you through the storm and tides.